So hey guys, how's it going? Today I made you guys another mixtape. I, d- I don't really know why. I was watching like some Fine Brothers stuff, and I saw teens react to 90s music, and it made me feel old. And but it got me listening to some 90s music, and it was bad. So I fired up some good 90s music, and I I just want to reminisce, I think, about some stuff that I listened to when I was in high school and like when I was in college. Um, Not really like top 10 stuff, but just like things that were just like a little unusual, maybe not completely unusual. Um, but yeah, this is just another playlist that I made, and I'm not going to go on too much about this, but I just wanted to share some stories and just, I don't know, remember back when, I was young. So, anyway, the first song in my playlist, this is Playongo's Interesting 90s Music, is Frontline Assembly. And they're an industrial band. That's basically all I know about them. I think they're Canadian, like Skinny Puppy. And I think, like, the guy that started it was in Skinny Puppy at one point. But I don't know. All these artists, like, worked together. And, again, like I said, this isn't, like, a top whatever. So, you know, like, Frontline Assembly's kind of representing, pretty much all the industrial that I listened to in terms of this mix. But I mean, I listened to Skinny Puppy and Ministry and not a ton of stuff. Anyway, Frontline Assembly was probably one of the more out there things. Fetus was probably like pretty unusual. I almost put Fetus in this mix actually. But anyway, this song is from the 90s, and mostly I just put it in here because it kicks all kinds of ass. The album that I actually got, I just picked up at a record store used. It was Millennium, is what it's called, and I think I literally just liked the cover, Um, they might have had like a label on it or something that said industrial or something like that. I mean, they also call it electronic body music. Um, a lot of their stuff is kind of really danceable for like stuff from that sort of industrial music scene. Um, I think that term was coined by Kraftwerk, um, who I never really listened to. They were like, this was like the natural progression from them. But anyway, um, I think this song was like some random single or something. It wasn't from Millennium, but that was an album that I had to get into. Um, it wasn't super approachable, but once I did, I really enjoyed it. And Frontline Assembly, like they're still making stuff and they're still amazing. Like this is very representative of their stuff. So anyway, um, Frontline Assembly. Um, Next is Dusted by Belly, and I don't know a lot about them really. I think this girl that was kind of like my non-girlfriend in high school um, was into them, and she got me into them, and they're good. Like I don't know. I mean, I got their second album, and it actually wasn't as good. As far as I'm concerned, like this one album called Star is it's just like this amazing one-off thing. you know, the lead singer was in, gosh, what was it? Um, a band. I don't remember. I think she was in the Breeders at one point, but she was in another band, and um, they, yeah, anyway, she just formed this band, and their first album was so like it sounds so haunting. Like when you hear her lyrics and like the guitar and stuff that they did, um, it sounds like broken dolls, and you know it sounds very, I don't know, it's just really unique. I think like she must have been sad or something when they were like writing these songs, because they just, a lot of them had this really melancholy, like weird feeling to them. I think Feed the Tree was sort of like the hit off of that album, and it was on MTV and stuff like that, and that's good too. I mean, pretty much all the songs on that album are actually, they're cool. Um, the next one is Nude Swirl, and like everybody I think that knows about Nude Swirl, um, they were on Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead thought they were cool, so automatically that means that they are cool, and they are, like, they completely kick ass. It was just this one album, and the band, like, I don't know, broke up after that. So like I pretty much saw them on Beavis and Butthead, and my mom, I think, worked at a music store at the time, or it was the music store she worked at. She might have left it by that point. But anyway, I went there and I was like, basically, can you get me this CD? And so they had to order it, but they could, and I got it. So, Nude Swirl is just like the best band that never made it. You know, it's such an amazing album. Like all the songs are like singles. You know, they're just all really really good for that kind of music, I guess. You know, it was like this weird '90s catchy, grungy, you know, sound. It was just very cool. Um, the next one is a Grotus song called Daisy Chain, and Grotus was just really neat. I literally, this is an album that I bought because of the cover, kind of. I didn't just buy it off the cover, but it just has this picture of like a dead fish's head or something, and it's just weird looking. And I was like, just between that and their name, I was actually at a used record store that would let you play the CDs. So they were like, yeah, well, you know, we'll toss it on and we'll play a couple songs if you want to hear it. And I was like, sure. So they put it on, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And so I bought it, and it's amazing. It sounds like it was from a different scene. I think they were sort of like a California band, but they sound really industrial. It's just how they sound. I don't know how to describe it. It's like they use a lot of samples, you know, like voice samples and things, and they're just really cool. They're kind of, they're like a little irreverent too, which I don't normally like that sort of thing, I guess now, but I used to. And they have a second album that was really good too, called Mass, and there's a song on there called Hand to Mouth. So sometimes if I'm feeling a little down, I like listening to that song because it just cheers me up. It's wonderful. So if you like Daisy Chain at all, it's a totally different kind of song, but they're super good. Um, Next up, I put on Republica, and they were kind of popular. They got radio time and they had hits and stuff like that. I think it was probably like three good hits probably that were on the radio, but they sort of just had like this one album and a few hits, and they were really kind of like big for a little bit, and then I never heard about them again. But what I think is cool about them is that their big hit was what was it, Ready to Go, I guess. You guys might know it, I don't know. Um, they just sound so, I mean, like their guitars are like a punch in the face, you know. They're really, it's really aggressive. It's not metal at all though. It's pop. Like it's super hooky, like catchy pop, but with like complete like electronic rock mix. They're like this cyber rock pop group. It sounds weird, but if you just listen to them, like you'll know what I'm saying. They basically take all the cool stuff out of industrial and just turn it into a pop band. It works really well. So plus like the lead singer just sounds great. Like she's just got a great voice. Next is Medicine, and their claim to fame, probably if you guys know them at all, is from the Crow soundtrack. They were on the soundtrack for that movie, and I think they appeared in the movie actually, like a band that played or something. I don't really know. But I had a friend in college that was really into them, and I think he might have turned me onto them, or I heard them on the soundtrack and then tried to find them. But at any rate, I'm pretty sure my only Medicine, aside from that soundtrack, 'cause I think I had it, was stuff I taped off of him. But I feel kind of bad. But I had like 3 of their albums, I think, at least 2 or 3. And I definitely had their first one, which is what this song comes from. And they just sound so cool. Honestly, when you hear one of their albums, all the songs kind of sound the same. They all sort of have this wall of noise that everyone is playing and singing through. And so yeah, it sounds sort of samey at first, but like the more you listen to it, the more you like it, and the cooler it gets, and the more you can kind of differentiate all the different songs and the different sounds, and they're very unique, and they're just sort of amazing. I kind of want to like just get back into listening to them again now that I've kind of, I don't know, just rediscovered them. Next up is this is a side project. That was one of the fun things I think about being into some of these bands, is like they would do these side projects, and some of them were really interesting. Ministry was one of my favorite bands and still is. I mean, they've been making music up until right recently. They sort of just broke up and then made another album like a few years ago. So they're still kicking. And anyway, so they were doing side projects at the time, and one of them was the Revolting Cocks. I think they also did Lard, which had like Jello Biafra from the Dead Kennedys, I think, on vocals. But anyway, this was like, I'm not sure exactly who was in this. It was like people from Ministry and some other dudes. But I actually might not be the Revolting Cocks. It might just be Revolting Cocks. I kind of forget. But again, just really irreverent. Just, you know, because Ministry's like dark and angry and serious, and so Revolting Cocks is just them being like a bunch of losers and stuff. So it's fun. Like it's just a lot of fun. Like they do a cover of "Do You Think I'm Sexy" by Rod Stewart, I think it is. If You Think I'm Sexy. And how does it go? If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, honey, tell me so. Anyway, the song I put on is actually like long and kind of repetitive, but it's cool. I mean, really, if I don't know, for some reason you wanted to pretend you were me in high school and college, like, you know, you can just put this mix on and listen to it and close your eyes, and that's me. I definitely listen to all these songs. The next one here is Hammerbox, and I was introduced to them. They were kind of one of those Seattle bands that I think sort of rode on the coattails of the success of, you know, all of the grunge bands and stuff from then. which I liked all of them, Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Nirvana and that kind of stuff. So Hammerbox I found because of some VHS tape, and it had music videos for some different stuff. It had a Soundgarden song on it, which was really cool. I mean, it was just Jesus Christ Pose from Bad Motor Finger, but I had never seen the music video before, and that was cool. And then it had a Hammerbox on it, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I guess they had a song on Road Rash, so they have kind of a video game tie-in. It was like, I think maybe Road Rash on the Sega CD, because they got to have a cool, CD soundtrack. So a lot of people know them from there. And I liked the song enough that I bought an album, and it was good. It was a little samey too, and eventually I just got rid of it because I was like, yeah. But listening to it again, I actually have fired it up on YouTube before, and it's really neat. It's like, it's good. I don't know. It's music that's nostalgic to me because I used to listen to it, and I like that style of music. I don't know if anybody sounds like that anymore. And anyway, the song is really good. And then it's Aphex Twin. I have no idea how I was introduced to Aphex Twin. I might have read about them and then decided to check them out. I do remember some things about the guy. I mean, it's basically just one guy, and it's like the weird, like, ambient techno music that he does. I seem to remember reading that he owns a tank, like a military tank, and I remember in an interview he said that he would lucid dream about music and then, like, wake up and make the music that he dreamt about. So it's like he would purposefully, like, compose music in his dreams and then like play it. I don't know. He's always seemed like an interesting guy at any rate. And so I ended up getting Selected Ambient Works 2, which I don't think was actually very cheap. I think it was a little pricey, and it was like a 2-disc set or something like that. And it was so weird. It really is just like ambient melody. There's like no percussion, there's no rhythms. It's just this really abstract ambient music. And some of his other stuff is like a little more approachable. But when I got over my initial, like, what is this? I don't know if I like this thing. I listened to the album. It took me a few listens, and finally it clicked for me. And it's an amazing set of albums. I don't know. It's really, really good. So yeah, Aphex Twin. I'm actually pretty excited to check out some more of his stuff now that I've realized that he still seems like has been making music up until recently, and it actually all seems really cool. So I think I'm going to get back into them. The last one is Emergency Broadcast Network. And the really cool thing about them, again, I think this was kind of just one guy, and I think he had a tie to UMass Amherst, which is kind of around where I was attending school. I don't know if that's too much information, but anyway, he either went there or performed there, maybe both. But he did this really neat thing. Like, I think he might have developed or somehow had some setup to like sample like video clips from like analog video and television and stuff that he would use to like make music with. And it just ended up being these really cool, like, there would be music videos for pretty much all of his stuff that was whatever audio clips he was using from the video in his music. And then there would be like some beats and instruments and stuff kind of added underneath that. But it was all very much about like kind of repurposing and sort of subverting like these images and clips and stuff that he was taking from television, and then like using them to like kind of spread this message of like about television in a way. And anyway, it was so much interesting stuff. There was a VHS tape that he had of like, I think pretty much like the whole album that he had done, and I had his album Emergency Broadcast Network, which was just really good. The song is Electronic Behavior Control System, and it was really like innovative for the time, and just a cool thing. Like a guy in college just introduced me to them, I'm pretty sure, and I really liked it. So anyway, I guess those are my recollections of songs from then. So I just wanted to share this. I think just to feel like, there was some value in that time, just kind of living through that and experiencing some of those things, just kind of looking back and going, oh yeah, there was some cool music, just some weird stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's cool, weird music now. You guys talk about it sometimes, and I don't always pay attention, so, if you guys don't listen to my playlist or don't watch this video, I'm not going to be offended. But anyway, if you guys have heard of any of these bands before, or, like the songs, just let me know, and thanks for watching.